Samsara nalalida loka Pranaya karanya ganaganatvam Praptasya kalyana gunanavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda Mahaprabhu Kirtanitya Gita Vaditya Madhyan Manasurasena Romanchakam Pashutaranga Vaja Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda Shri Vigrahara Dana Nityanana Shingaratan Mandira Majanada Yuktasya Bhaktam Shaniyunjatapi Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda Chaturveda Shri Bhagavad Prasada Swadhana Dirtan Hari Bhakta Sangha Kritaiva Triptim Bhajata Sadaiva Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda 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 Shri Radhika Madhava Yorapara Madhurya Lila Guna Rupanana Praktishana Svadanalupasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda Nikunja Yuna Yatikeli Siddhya Yaya Libir Yukti Apekshaniya Tatrati Daksha Dakti Vallabhasya Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda Sakshararidvena samasta shastra uktastata bhavyata eva sadvi. Kintu prabhuya priyeva tasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado Yasya prasada nagati kutapi. Jayam Suvam Stasya Yasyastri Sandhyam Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Dishatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Nilamada Radha Nilamada Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Nilamada Radha Nilamada Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Nata Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Jaya Lakshmana Hanuman. Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva. Nitya Gaura Haribo 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 Nitya Gaura Haribo.
Jai Om Shnupada Brahmam Sapadaka Chaya Shtota Shata Shishmadis Divine Grace Aparachana Vrinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON BBTPI Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Shnupada Brahmam Sapadaka Chaya Shtota Shata Shishmadis Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premise Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Shri Purushottam Chetar Jagannath-puri Dham Ki Jai Shri Ayodhya Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samavrita Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय नमस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रह्लादह्लाददायिने हिरण्यकाशीपूर्वक्षः शीलटङ्कनखालाये इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहः बहिर्नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह नरसिंहमादिं शरणं प्रपद्ये नरसिंहमादिं शरणं प्रपद्ये तव करकमलवरे नखम् अद्भुतशृङ्गं दलिता हिरण्यकाशिपूतनुभृङ्गम् केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जयो लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जयो लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जयो प्रह्लाद महाराज जयो प्रह्लाद महाराज प्रह्लाद महाराज जयो प्रह्लाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव भक्ति विघ्न विनाशक श्री नरसिंह देव भगवान की भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की
विष्णु भक्ति पदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णु भक्ति पदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः वृंदाय शीला देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय।
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी 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 नमः राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो ये अभिलाषी राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो ये अभिलाषी राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो हे अभिलाषी राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो हे अभिलाषी ये तुम्हार शरण लो तारा वांछ पूर्ण हो ये तुम्हार शरण लो तारा वांछ कृपा कोरी कोरो तारे वृंदावन वासी कृपा कोरी कोरो तारे वृंदावन वासी मोराए अभिलाष विलास कुंज दियो वास नयने हेरिबो सदा युगल रूप राशि नयने हेरिबो सदा राशि ए निवेदन धारो सखीरानुगत कुरु ए निवेदन धारो सखीरानुगत सेवाधिकार दिए करो निज दासी सेवाधिकार दिए करो निज दासी दीना कृष्ण दासे को ये न मोरा हो दीना श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदाई न भासी 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 यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति दक्षिण पदे पदे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय तुलसी महारानी 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 जय वृंदे देवी 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय देव गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः वृंदाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवत्याय नमो वृंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय।
My desire also grant me residence in the precious groves of Shiva and Dharam. Thus within my vision shall behold the beautiful pattern Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me follow a Karo dance of the Virgin. Please give me the privileged devotional service and make me your own maid servant. This very fallen lowly servant of Krishna prays. May I always swim in the love of Shri Radha and Govinda. Srimati Tulsi Maharani ki jai. There are 10 offenses in the matter of chanting holy name that should be avoided, and they are as follows. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated life for propagating holy name the Lord. 2. To consider the names of demigods, Lord Shiva or Brahma, to be equal to independent name Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the order of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature pursuing the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glory of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities and strength of chanting the holy name. 8. To consider chanting Hare Krishna one of the auspicious ritualistic activities, offering the Veda the fruited activities, karma, kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about glorious holy name. 10. To not complete faith in the chanting holy names, and to maintain material attachments in understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense being inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve desired success, Krishna Prema. Now let us offer our most humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just as I trees who can fulfill to everyone. They are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Jeto Darpana Marjanam Pavamahadavakni Nirvapanam Shriya Gairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavatu Jivanam Anandam Pudivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamita Sadhanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra Pita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha Etadishi Tavakripa Bhagavam Mamapi Durudevami Desham Iha Janina Nurakaha Trinatapi Sunijena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadaharihi Na Thanam Na Janam Na Sundarim Kavitam Vajakadisha Kamaye Mama Jammani Jammanishvare Bhavata Bhaktir Haituki Tavai Ayinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Han Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sthita Dhuri Sadvesham Vichintaya Nayanam Galadashuru Daraya Vadanam Gadgada Rudaya Gira Pulaka Nichitam Vapurkata Tava Nama Grahane Bhavishati Yuga Idam Nimishena Chakshusha Pravisha Idam Shunya Idam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahe Name Ashirishava Padaratam Pinnashtumam Atarshanam Marmhatam Karotuva Yatha Tatha Va Vidatatu Lampato Madprana Nathastu Se Eva Naparaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Glory to Shri Krishna Sankirtana. With the cleansed heart of all the deaths occurring for years, and distinguished power of additional life for repeated births and deaths. This Sankirtan movement is prime benediction humanity at large because it spreads the rays of benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendent bliss, and it was just fully taste nectar for which always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone grants all benediction human beings. Thus you have hundreds of millions of names are Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have vested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, our kindness enables us to easily approach you by holy names, but I'm so unfortunate I have no attraction for them. One should chant holy name the Lord in humble state of mind, think oneself lower than the strolling street. One should be more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor to desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son Mahajananda Krishna, I'm an eternal servitor. Yet somehow I fall in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me at one of the Adam's and lotus feet. Oh my Lord, why my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constant when I chant the holy name? Why my voice choke up or the hairs my body stand and recitation of your name? Oh Govinda, feeling of separation, I'm constant moment to be like a great millennium. Tears are flowing from eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord, unconditionally. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Shri Mangala Charna prayers ki jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pachadate Shatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshapanivi Devi Daidaya Kripaptaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jala Premadya Shri Rupa Nuga Bhaktita Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dina Darine Rupanuga Virudapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipalambara Sambodhe Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Svarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumistvam Nirtishta Sajanapriyaha Vaishnava Sava Bhauma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpa Tirupischa Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patidanam Pavne Pyo Vaishnavi Pyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Sratoro Pango Mamamanda Materkati Masarva Swapadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Divindadana Kalpadumada Shimadra Nagara Singhasanasto Shrimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prishtari Bi Sevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsi Vata Tatastitaha Karsham Venu Soner Gopir Gopinatha Shriyestunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Panamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Mangala Charna prayers ki jai. Shri Brahma Samhita ki jai. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadya Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Chintamani Parakara Satmasukapa Viksha Lakshariteshu Surabi Rabi Palayantam Lakshmi Sahasa Shatasam Brahmasevymanam Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venung Kanantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Parhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kantarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shopam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Alola Chantakala Savanamara Vamshi Ranang Kadam Panayakeli Kalavilasam Shamam Tripanka Lalitam Yatapakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Angani Yasya Sakalinti Avrittimanti Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Chakanti Ananda Chimma Satuchila Vikrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Advaitam Achotam Anati Mananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durabam Adurabam Atma Bhakta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Pantastu Koti Shatavassara Sampragamyo Vayurathapi Manaso Munipangavanam Sopiasti Yapapata Simya Vichinta Tatve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ekopya Sara Chayitum Chakatanta Kotim Ya Chakti Rasti Chakatanta Chayaya Dantaha Antantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yad Bhava Pavitadiyo Manujastateva Samprapya Rupa Mahimasana Yana Pushaha Suktayam Eva Nigama Patitai Stuvanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ananda Chimme Rasa Patipavitapis Tapiya Eva Njarupa Tayakalapihi Goloka Eva Nivasate Kilatma Bhutto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Premanjana Churuta Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundar Machintya Guna Swarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ramadi Murtishu Kalani Yamena Tishtan Nanavatarama Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhava Parama Pumam Yo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami. Krishna, who is not Govinda, the Supreme Godhead, he has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin and the prime cause of all causes.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes, lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with the figure of beauty tinged the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers, beautified with a moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with the flute and jeweled ornaments, who always revels in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of Syamasundara is eternally manifest.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is fully bliss, truth, substantiality, and is thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas, but attainable by pure and unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning, and the eternal Purusha. Yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years.
He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe, at one and at the same time.
I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra suktas told by the Vedas by scanning their appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyances, and ornaments.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, an embodiment of ecstatic potency, possessed of the 64 artistic activities, in the company of her confidants, Sakis, embodiments of extensions of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Syamasundara, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna and in different avatars in the world in the forms of Rama, Nrsimha, Vamna, etc., as subjective portions.
Hari, Sri Brahma Samhita ki jai. Bhagavad Gita 7.1 purport. Shrunvatam swakata Krishna punya sravana kirtanaha hridayanta histo hi abhadrani vidnoti suhritsatam nasta prayesva abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki tada rajastamo bhava kama lobha jaya chaye cheta eter anavidam sthitam satve prasidati evam prasanna manaso bhagavat bhakti yogatah भगवत तत्व विज्ञानम मुक्त संगस्य जायते विद्यते हृदय ग्रंथिश्चिद्यन्ते सर्वसमस्याः क्षीयन्ते च कर्माणि दृष्टा एवात्मनीश्वरे.
To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, devotee naturally develops this dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion, ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga serves the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of asamsayam samagram, understanding of the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead. Bhagavad Gita 1. Bhagavatam 1.2.1, first canto, second chapter, 7, text 17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotees in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We'll continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 5, Text 14. Dravyam karma cha kalascha swabhavo jiva eva cha vasudevat paro brahman na chanyortho sti tattvataha. Dravyam, the ingredients, earth, water, fire, air and sky. Karma, the interaction, cha and kalaha, eternal time, cha also swabhavaha, intuition or nature, jivaha, the living being, eva, certainly, cha and vasudevat, from Vasudeva, paraha, differentiated parts, Brahman, O Brahmana, na, never, cha, also, anyaha, separate, ardha, value, asti, there is, tattvataha, in truth. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The 5 elementary ingredients of creation, the interaction thereof set up by eternal time, and the intuition or nature of the individual living beings are all differentiated parts and parcels of the personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, and in truth there is no other value in them. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This phenomenal world is impersonally the representation of Vasudeva because the ingredients of its creation, their interaction, and the enjoyer of the resultant action, the living being, are all produced by the external and internal energies of Lord Krishna. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. The ingredients, namely earth, water, fire, air, and sky, as well as the consumption of material identity, intelligence, and the mind, are produced of the external energy of the Lord. The living entity who enjoys the interaction of the above gross and subtle ingredients, as set up by eternal time, is an offshoot of internal potency, with the freedom to remain either in the material world or in the spiritual world. In the material world, the living entity is enticed by deluding nescience, but in the spiritual world, he is in the normal condition of spiritual existence without any delusion. The living entity is known as the marginal potency of the Lord, but in all circumstances, neither the material ingredients nor the spiritual parts and parcels are independent of the personality of Godhead Vasudeva. For all things, whether products of the external, internal, or marginal potencies of the Lord, are simply displays of the same effulgence of the Lord, just as light, heat, and smoke are displays of fire. None of them are separate from the fire. All of them combine together to be called fire. Similarly, all phenomenal manifestations as well as the effulgence of the body of Vasudeva are his impersonal features, whereas he eternally exists in his transcendental form called Satchit Ananda Vigraha, distinct from all conceptions of the material ingredients mentioned above.
Text 15. Narayana Paraveda Deva Narayanangaja Narayana Paraloka Narayana Paramaka. Narayana, the Supreme Lord. Para is the cause and is meant for. Veda, knowledge. Deva, the demigods. Narayana, the Supreme Lord. Angaja, assisting hands. Narayana, the personality of Godhead. Para, for the sake of. Loka, the planets. Narayana, the Supreme Lord. Para, just to please him. Maka, all sacrifices. Translation. The Vedic literatures are made by and are meant for the Supreme Lord. The demigods are also meant for serving the Lord as part of his body. The different planets are also meant for the sake of the Lord, and the different sacrifices are performed just to please him. Purport. According to the Vedanta Sutra, Shastra Yunitvat, the Supreme Lord is the author of all revealed scriptures, and all revealed scriptures are for knowing the Supreme Lord. Veda means knowledge that leads to the Lord. The Vedas are made just to revive the forgotten consciousness of the conditioned souls. And any literature not meant for reviving God consciousness is rejected at once by the Narayana Para devotees. Such deluding books of knowledge, not having Narayana as their aim, are not at all knowledge, but all the playgrounds of crows who are interested in the rejected refuse of the world. Any book of knowledge, science or art, must lead to the knowledge of Narayana. Otherwise, it must be rejected. That is the way of advancement of knowledge. The supreme worshipable deity is Narayana. The demigods are recommended secondarily for worship in relation to Narayana because the demigods are assisting hands in the management of the universal affairs. As the officers of a kingdom are respected due to their relationship to the king, the demigods are worshipped due to their relationships to the Lord. Without the Lord's relationship, worship of the demigod is unauthorized, avidhi purvakam. Just as it is improper to water the leaves and the branches of the tree without watering its root, therefore the demigods are also dependent on Narayana. The lokas or the different planets are attractive because they are different varieties of life and bliss, partially representing the Satchidananda Vigraha. Everyone wants the eternal life of bliss and knowledge. In this material world, such an eternal life of bliss and knowledge is progressively realized in the upper planets. But after reaching there, one is inclined to achieve further progress along the path of Godhead. Duration of life with a proportionate quantity of bliss and knowledge may be increased from one planet to another. One can increase the duration of life to thousands and thousands of years in different planets. But nowhere is there eternal life. But one who can reach the highest planet, that of Brahma, can aspire to reach the planets in the spiritual sky, where life is eternal. Therefore, the progressive journey from one planet to another culminates in reaching the supreme planet of the Lord, Madhama. There, life is eternal and full of bliss and knowledge. All the different kinds of sacrifice are performed just to satisfy Lord Narayan with a view to reach him. And the best sacrifice recommended in this age of Kali is Sankirtana Yajna, the mainstay of devotional service of Narayana Para devotee.
Narayana paro yogo, Narayana param tapaha, Narayana param gnanam, Narayana paragati. Narayana para, just to know Narayana. Yoga, concentration of mind. Narayana param, just with an aim to achieve Narayana. Tapa, austerity. Narayana param, just to realize a glimpse of Narayana. Gnana, culture of transcendental knowledge. Narayana para, the path of salvation ends by entering the kingdom of Narayana. Gatihi, progressive path. Translation. All different types of meditation are mysticism, are means for realizing Narayana. All austerities are aimed at achieving Narayana. Culture for transcendental knowledge is for getting a glimpse of Narayana, and ultimately salvation is entering the kingdom of Narayana. Purport. In meditation, there are two systems of yoga, namely Asthana Yoga and Sankhya Yoga. Asthana Yoga is practiced. That's what I said. I didn't say Ashtanga. Ashtanga Yoga is practice in concentrating the mind, realizing oneself from all engagements by the regulative process of meditation, concentration, sitting postures, blocking the movements of the internal circulation of air, etc. Sankhya Yoga is meant to distinguish the truth from ephemerals. But ultimately, both systems are meant for realizing the impersonal Brahman, which is but a partial representation of Narayana, the personality of Godhead. As we have explained before, the impersonal Brahman effulgence is only a part of the personality of Godhead. Impersonal Brahman is situated on the person of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as such, Brahman is the glorification of the personality of God, of the Godhead. This is confirmed both in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Matsya Purana. Gati refers to the ultimate destination or the last word in liberation. On oneness with the impersonal Brahma Jyoti is not ultimate liberation. Superior to that is the sublime association of the personality of Godhead in one of the innumerable planets, spiritual planets in the Vaikuntha sky. Therefore, the conclusion is that Narayana, or the personality of Godhead, is the ultimate destination for all kinds of yoga systems, and as well as all kinds of liberation.
Canto 2, Chapter 5, Text 17. Tasyapi drastur ishasya kutastasya khilatmana srijyam srijyami sristoham ikshayaiva vabichodita. Tasya, his, api, certainly, drastu, of the seer, ishasya, of the controller, kutasastya, of the one who is over everyone's intelligence, Akhila Atmana, of the Supersoul, Srijyam, that which is already created, Srijami, do I discover? Shrishta, created. Aham, myself. Ikshaya, by glance over. Eva, exactly. Abhichodita, being inspired by him. Translation. Inspired by him only, I discover what is already created by him, Narayana, under his vision as the all pervading supersoul, and I also am created by him only. Purport. Even Brahma, the creator of the universe, admits that he is not the actual creator, but is simply inspired by the Lord Narayana and therefore creates under his superintendence those things already created by him, the supersoul of all living entities. Two identities of the soul, the supersoul and the individual soul, are admitted to be in the living entity, even by the greatest authority of the universe. The supersoul is the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, whereas the individual soul is the eternal servitor of the Lord. The Lord inspires the individual soul to create what is already created by the Lord, and by the goodwill of the Lord, a discoverer of something in the world is accredited as the discoverer. It is said that Columbus discovered the Western Hemisphere, but actually, the tract of land was not created by Columbus. The vast tract of land was already there by the omnipotency of the Supreme Lord, and Columbus, by dint of his past service unto the Lord, was blessed with the credit of discovering America. Similarly, no one can create anything without the sanction of the Lord, since everyone sees according to his ability. This ability is also awarded by the Lord according to one's willingness to render service unto the Lord. One must therefore be voluntarily willing to render service unto the Lord, and thus the Lord will empower the doer in proportion to his surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Lord Brahma is a great devotee of the Lord. Therefore, he has been empowered or inspired by the Lord to create such a universe as the one manifested before us. The Lord also inspired Arjuna to fight in the field of Kurukshetra as follows. Tasmatvam uttishta yasho labhasva jitva satrun bhunksva rajyam smritham mayaivaite nihata puran eva nimitta matram bhava savyas shachin. The battle of Kurukshetra or any other battle at any place at any time is made by the will of the Lord, for no one can arrange such mass annihilation without the sanction of the Lord. The party of Duryodhana insulted Draupadi, a great devotee of Krishna, and she appealed to the Lord as well as to all the silent observers of this unwanted insult. Arjuna was then advised by the Lord to fight and take credit, otherwise the party of Duryodhana would be killed anyway by the will of the Lord. So Arjuna was advised just to become the agent and take the credit for killing great generals like Bhishma and Karna. In the Vedic writings, such as the Katha Upanishad, the Lord is described as the Sarvabhuta Antaratma, or the personality of Godhead who resides in everyone's body and who directs everything for one who is a soul surrendered unto him. Those who are not surrendered souls are put under the care of the material nature. Brahmanyam sarvabhutani yatra rudhavni mayaya. Therefore, they are allowed to do things on their own account and suffer the consequences themselves. Devotees like Brahma and Arjuna do not do anything on their own account, but as fully surrendered souls, they always await instructions from the Lord. Therefore, they attempt to do something which indications from the Lord. Therefore, they attempt to do something which appears very wonderful to ordinary vision. One of the Lord's names is Urukrama, or one whose actions are very wonderful and are beyond the imagination of the living being. Also, the actions of his devotees sometimes appear very wonderful due to the direction of the Lord. Beginning from Brahma, the topmost intelligent living entity within the universe, down to the smallest ant, every living entity's intelligence is overseen by the Lord in his transcendental position as the witness of all actions. The subtle presence of the Lord is felt by the intelligent man who can study the psychic effects of thinking, feeling, and willing.
Text 18, Canto 2, Chapter 5.
Sattvam rajastama iti nirgunasya gunastraya sitisarga nirodeshu grihita mayaya vibho. Sattvam, the mode of goodness. Rajaha, the mode of passion. Tamaha, the mode of ignorance. Iti, all these. Nirgunasya, of the transcendence. Gunatrayaha, or three qualities. Sthiti, maintenance. Sarga, creation. Nirodeshu, indestruction. Grihitaha, accepted. Maya, by the external energy. Vibho, of the Supreme. Translation: the Supreme Lord is pure spiritual form, transcendental to all material qualities. Yet, for the sake of creation of the material world, and its maintenance and annihilation, he accepts through his external energy the material modes of nature called goodness, passion, and ignorance. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Lord is the master of the external energy manifested by the three material modes, namely goodness, passion, ignorance. And as master of this energy, he is ever unaffected by the influence of such bewildering energy. The living entities, the jivas, however, are affected by or susceptible to being influenced by such modes of material nature. That is the difference between the Lord and the living entities. The living entities are subjected by those qualities, although originally the living entities are qualitatively one with the Lord. In other words, the material modes of nature, being products of the energy of the Lord, are certainly connected with the Lord, but the connection is just like that between the master and the servants. The Supreme Lord is the controller of the material energy, whereas the living entities who are entangled in the material world are neither masters nor controllers. Rather, they become subordinate to or controlled by such energy. Factually, the Lord is eternally manifested by his internal potency or spiritual energy, just like the sun and its rays in the clear sky. But at times he creates the material energy, as the sun creates a cloud in the clear sky. As the sun is ever increasingly unaffected by a spot of cloud, so also the unlimited Lord is unaffected by the spot of material energy manifested at times in the unlimited span of the Lord's rays of Brahma Jyoti.
Karyakaranakartritvaye Dravyajnana Kriyashraya Badnanti Nityada Muktam Mayinam Purusham Guna.
Karya, effect. Karana, cause. Kartatve, in activities. Dravya, material. Jnana, knowledge. Kriya Ashraya, manifested by such symptoms. Bandhananti, conditions. Badnanti, conditions. Nityada, eternally. Muktam, transcendental. Mayinam, affected by material energy. Purusham, the living entity. Guna, the material modes.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. These three modes of material nature being further manifested as matter, knowledge, and activities put the eternally transcendental living entity under conditions of cause and effect and make him responsible for such activities. Purport. Because they are between the internal and external potencies, The eternally transcendental living entities are called the marginal potency of the Lord. Factually, the living entities are not meant to be so conditioned by material energy, but due to their being affected by the false sense of lording it over the material's energy, they come under the influence of such potency and thus become conditioned by the three modes of material nature. This external energy of the Lord covers up the pure knowledge of the living entities eternally existing with him, but the covering is so constant that it appears that the conditioned soul is eternally ignorant. Such is the wonderful action of Maya, or external energy, manifested as if materially produced. By the covering power of the material energy, the material scientist cannot look beyond the material causes, but factually, behind the material manifestations, there are Adi Buddha, Adhyatma, and Adidaiva actions, with the conditioned soul in the mode of ignorance cannot see. The Adibhuta manifested entails reputations of birth and deaths with old age and diseases. The Adhyatma manifestation condition the spirit soul, and the Adi Daiva manifestation is the controlling system. These are the material manifestations of cause and effect and the sense of responsibility of the conditioned actors. They are, after all, manifestations of the conditioned state. In the human being's freedom from such a conditioned state is the highest perfectional attainment.
Text 20. Sa esha bhagavalingay tribhiretairadhokshaja swalakshita gati brahman sarvesham mamacheshwara. Saha, he, esha, this, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, lingai, by the symptoms, tribhi, by three, ete, by all these, adhokshaja, the superseer, transcendence, su alakshita, veritably unseen, gati, movement, Brahman, O Narada, Sarvesham, of everyone, Mama, mine, Cha, as also, Ishvara, the controller. Translation: O Brahmana Narada, the superseer, the transcendent Lord is beyond the perception of material senses of the living entities because of the above mentioned three modes of nature. But he is the controller of everyone, including me. Purport: in Bhagavad Gita 7.24 and 25, the Lord has declared very clearly that the impersonalists who give more importance to the transcendental rays of the Lord as Brahma Jyoti and who concludes that the absolute truth is ultimately impersonal and only manifests a form at a time of necessity is less intelligent than the personalist. However much the impersonalist may be engaged in studying the Vedanta, the fact is that such impersonalists are covered by the above mentioned three modes of material nature. Therefore, they are unable to approach the transcendental personality of God, Lord. The Lord is not approachable by everyone because he is curtained by his Yogamaya potency. But one should not wrongly conclude that the Lord was formerly unmanifested and has now manifested himself in the human form. This misconception of the formless of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is due to Yoga Maya curtain of the Lord and can be removed only by the Supreme Will. As soon as the conditioned soul surrenders unto him, the devotees of the Lord who are transcendental to the above mentioned three modes of material nature can see the all blissful transcendental form of the Lord, and with their vision of love in the attitude of pure devotional service.
Canto 2, Chapter 5, Text 21. Kalam karma svabhavam cha mayesho mayaya svaya atman yadrichaya praptam vibhubhushur upadate. Kalam, eternal time. Karma, the fate of the living entity. Svabhavam, nature. Cha, also. Maya, potency. Isha, the controller. Mayaya, by the energy, Svaya, of his own, Atman, unto himself, Yadrachaya, independently, Praptam, being merged in, Vibhu Bhushu, appearing differently, Upadate, accepted for being created again. Translation. The Lord, who is the controller of all energies, thus creates by his own potency, eternal time, the fate of all living entities and their particular nature for which they were created, and he again merges them independently. Purport. The creation of the material world, wherein the conditioned souls are allowed to act subordinately by the Supreme Lord, takes place again and again after being repeatedly annihilated. The material creation is something like a cloud in the unlimited sky. The real sky is the spiritual sky, eternally filled with the rays of the Brahma Jyoti, and a portion of this unlimited sky is covered by the Mahatattva, cloud of the material creation, in which the conditioned souls who want to lord it against the will of the Lord are put into play as they desire under the control of the Lord by the agency of his external agency. As the external energy. As the rainy season appears and disappears regularly, the creation takes place and is again annihilated under the control of the Lord, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 8.19. So, the creation and annihilation of the material worlds is a regular action of the Lord, just to allow the conditioned souls to play as they like and thereby create their own fate of being differently created again in terms of their independent desires at the time of annihilation. The creation, therefore, takes place at a historical rate, as we are accustomed to think of everything which has a beginning in our tiny experience. The process of creation and annihilation is called anadi, or without reference to date regarding the time the creation first took place, because the duration of even a partial creation is 8,640,000,000 years. The law of creation is, however, as mentioned in the Vedic literatures, that it is created at certain intervals and is again annihilated by the will of the Lord. The whole material or even the spiritual creation is a manifestation of the Lord, of the energy of the Lord, just as the light and heat of a fire are different manifestations of the fire's energy. The Lord therefore exists in his impersonal form by such expansion of energy, and the complete creation rests on his impersonal feature. Nonetheless, he keeps himself distinct from such creation as the Purnam or complete, and so no one should wrongly think that his personal feature is not existent due to his impersonal unlimited expansions. The impersonal expansion is a manifestation of his energy, and he is always in his personal feature despite his innumerable unlimited expansions of impersonal energies. Bhagavad Gita 9.5-7. For human intelligence, it is very difficult to conceive how the whole creation rests on his expansion of energy. But the Lord has given a very good example in the Bhagavad Gita. It is said that although the air and the atoms rest within the huge expansion of the sky, which is like the resting reservoir of everything materially created, still the sky remains separate and unaffected. Similarly, although the Supreme Lord maintains everything created by his expansion of energy, he always remains separate. This is accepted even by Shankaracharya, the great advocate of the impersonal form of the Absolute. He says, Narayana Parovyaktat, or Narayana exists separately, apart from the impersonal creative energy. The whole creation thus merges within the body of transcendental Narayana at the time of annihilation, and the creation emanates from his body again with the same unchanging categories of fate and individual nature. The individual living entities, being parts and parcels of the Lord, are sometimes described as Atma, qualitatively one in spiritual constitution. But because such living entities are apt to be attracted to the material creation, actively and subjectively, They are therefore different from the Lord.
Text 22, Canto 2, Chapter 5. Kalad guna vyaktikara parinama swabhavata karmano janma mahata purushadi stitad abut. Kalat, from eternal time. Guna vyaktikara, transformation of the modes by reaction. Parinama, transformation. Subhavata, from the nature. Karmanaha, of activities. Janma, creation. Mahataha, of the Mahat Sattva, Tattva. Purusha Adi Stitat, because of the Purusha incarnation of the Lord. Abhut, it took place. Translation. After the incarnation of the first Purusha, Karnarnavasai Vishnu, the Mahat Tattva, or the principles of material creation, takes place, and then time is manifested. And in course of time, the three qualities appear. Nature means the three qualitative appearances. They transform into activities. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. By the omnipotency of the Supreme Lord, the whole material creation evolves by the process of transformation and reactions one after another. And by the same omnipotency, they are wound up again one after another and conserved in the body of the Supreme. Kala, or time, is a synonym of nature and is the transformed manifestation of the principles of material creation. As such, Kala may be taken as the first cause of all creation, and by transformation of nature, different activities of the material world becomes visible. These activities may be taken up as a natural instinct of each and every living being, or even of the inert objects. And after the manifestation of activities, there are varieties of products and byproducts of the same nature. Originally, these are all due to the Supreme Lord. Vedanta Sutras and the Bhagavatam thus begin with the absolute truth as the beginning of all creations. Janmadi Asya Yataha.
Text 23. Mahatastu vikurvanad rajasatto brahmitat tama pradhanastva abhavad dravyajnana kriyatmaka. Mahata, of the Mahat Tattva, to but, Vikurvana, being transformed, Rajaha, the material mode of passion, Sattva, the mode of goodness, Upabhramita, because of being increased, Tamaha, the mode of darkness, Pradhana, being prominent, Tu, but, Abhavat, took place, Dravya, matter, Jnana, material knowledge, Kriya Atmaka, predominantly material activities. Translation. Material activities are caused by the Mahat Tattvas being agitated. At first, there is a transformation of the mode of goodness and passion, and later, due to the mode of ignorance, matter is its knowledge, and different activities of the material knowledge come into play. Purport. Material creation of every description are more or less due to the development of the mode of passion. The Mahat Tattva is the principle of material creation, and when it is agitated by the will of the Supreme, at first the mode of passion and ignorance are prominent, and afterwards the mode of passion being generated in due course of material activities of different varieties become prominent, and the living entities are thus involved more and more in ignorance. Brahma is the representation of mode of passion. Vishnu is the representation of mode of goodness, while the mode of ignorance is represented by Lord Shiva, the father of the material activities. Material nature is called the mother, and the initiator of the materialistic life is the father, Lord Shiva. All material creation by the living entities is therefore initiated by the modes of passion. With the advancement of duration of life in a particular millennium, The different modes act by gradual development in the age of Kali, when the mode of passion is most prominent. Material activities of different varieties in the name of advancement of human civilization take place, and the living entities become more and more involved in forgetting their real identity, the spiritual nature. By a slight cultivation of mode of goodness, a glimpse of spiritual nature is perceived. But due to the prominence of the mode of passion, the mode of goodness becomes adulterated. Therefore, one cannot transcend the limits of the material modes, and therefore, realization of the Lord, who is always transcendental to the modes of material nature, becomes very difficult for the living entities. Even though prominently situated in the mode of goodness, through cultivation of the various methods, in other words, the gross matters are Adi Bhutam, their maintenance is Adi Devam, and initiator of material activities is called Adhyatmam. In the material world, these are the three principal act as prominent features, namely as raw material, its regular supplies, and its use in different varieties of material creation of sense enjoyment by the bewildered entities.
Don't be mean to me. This is the whole first. Sohankara iti prokto vikurvan samabhutrida vaikarikastai jashascha tamascheti yadbida dravyasakti kriyasaktir gnana saktiriti prabho. What's the tune for that? Sohankara iti prakto vikurvan samabhutrida vaikarikas taijascha tamasyeti yadbida dravya shakti kira shaktir jnana shaktiritap iti prabhu. I told you it's not the same.
Sa, the very same thing. Ankaraha, ego, iti, thus, prokta, said, vikurvan, being transformed, samabhut, become manifested, trida, in three features, vaikarika, in the mode of goodness, taijasa, in the mode of passion, cha, and tamasa, in the mode of ignorance, cha, also, iti, thus, yat, what is, vida, divided, dravya shakti, powers that evolve matter, kriya shakti, initiation that creates, gnana shakti, intelligence that guides, iti, thus, prabho, O master.
Translation: the self-centered materialistic ego, thus being transformed into three features, becomes known as the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance in the three divisions, namely the powers that evolve matter, knowledge in material creations, and the intelligence that guides such materialistic activities. Narada, you are quite competent to understand this. Purport: materialistic ego, or the sense of identification with matter, is grossly self-centered, devoid of clear knowledge of the existence of God. This self-centered egoism of the materialistic living entity is the cause of their being conditioned by the other paraphernalia of continuing their bondage of material existence. In the Bhagavad Gita, this self-centered egoism is very nicely explained in the 7th chapter, verses 24 through 27. The self-centered impersonalist, without a clear conception of the personality of Godhead, concludes in his own way that the personality of Godhead takes an material shape from his original impersonal spiritual existence for a particular mission. In this misleading conception of the personality, Supreme Lord by the self-centered impersonalist continues, even though He is seen to be very interested in the Vedic literature, such as the Brahma Sutras, and other highly intellectual sources of knowledge. This ignorance of the personal feature of the Lord is due simply to ignorance of the mixture of different modes. The personalist thus cannot conceive of the Lord's internal spiritual form of eternal knowledge, bliss, and existence. The reason is that the Lord reserves the right and not exposing himself to the non-devotee who, even after a thorough study of literature like the Bhagavad Gita, remains an impersonalist simply by obstinacy. This obstinacy is due to the action of Yogamaya, a personal energy of the Lord that acts like an aide de camp by covering the vision of the obstinate impersonalist. Such a bewildered human being is described as muda, or grossly ignorant, because he is unable to understand the transcendental form of the Lord as being unborn and unchangeable. If the Lord takes the form of material shape from his original impersonal feature, then it means that he is born and changeable from impersonal to personal. But he is not changeable, nor does he ever take a new birth like a conditioned soul. The conditioned soul may take form birth after birth due to his conditional existence in matter. But the self-centered impersonalists, by their gross ignorance, accept the Lord as one of them because of self-centered egoism. Even after so-called advancement of knowledge in the Vedanta, the Lord, being situated in the heart of every individual living entity, knows very well the tendency of such conditioned souls in terms of past, present, and future. But the bewildered conditioned soul hardly can know him in his eternal form. By the will of the Lord, therefore, the impersonalist, even after knowing the Brahman and Paramatma features of the Lord, remains ignorant of his eternal personal feature as ever existed in Narayana, transcendental to all material creation.
The cause of such gross ignorance is constant engagement by the materialistic man in the matter of artificially increasing material demands. To realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one has to purify the materialistic senses by devotional service. The mode of goodness or the Brahminical culture recommended in the Vedic literatures is helpful to such spiritual realization. And thus, the Jnana Shakti stage of the conditioned soul is comparatively better than the other two stages, namely Dravya Shakti and Kriya Shakti. The whole material civilization is manifested by a huge accumulation of materials, or in other words, raw materials for industrial purposes and the industrial enterprises, Kriya Shakti, are all due to gross ignorance of spiritual life. In order to rectify this great anomaly of materialistic civilization, based on the principles of Dravya Shakti and Kriya Shakti, one has to adopt the process of devotional service of the Lord by adoption of the principles of Karma Yoga, mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita 9.27 as follows. Yad karoshi yad ashnasi yajjuhosi tadashi yad tapasyasi konteya tad kurushva mad arpanam. O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done so as an offering unto me. Text 35. Text 25.
Canto 2, Chapter 5, Text 25. Tamasadapi bhutadir vikurvanad abunnabaha tasya matra guna shabdo Lingam yadrastra drishya yo tamasat, from the darkness of the false ego. Api, certainly, bhutadeh, of the material elements, vikurvanat, because of transformation, abhut, generated, nabha, the sky, tasya, its matra, subtle form, guna, quality, shabda, sound, lingam, the characteristics, yat, as it is, drasht, the seer, drashyo, of what is seen. Translation: from the darkness of false ego, the first of the five elements, namely the sky, is generated. Its subtle form is a quality of sound, exactly as a seer is in relationship with the seen. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The five elements, namely sky, air, fire, water, and earth, are all but different qualities of the darkness of false ego. This means that the false ego, in the sum total form of Mahatattva, is generated from the marginal potency of the Lord. And due to this false ego of lording it over material creation, ingredients are generated for the false enjoyment of the living being. The living being is practically the dominating factor over the material elements as an enjoyer, though the background is the Supreme Lord. Factually, save and except the Lord, no one can be called the enjoyer. But the living entity falsely desires to become the enjoyer. This is the origin of false ego. When the bewildered living being desires this, the shadow elements are generated by the will of the Lord, and the living entities are allowed to run after them as after a phantasmagoria.
It is said that first the tanmatra sound is created and then the sky. And in this verse, it is confirmed that actually it is so. But sound is the subtle form of the sky, and the distinction is like between the seer and the seen. The sound is a representation of the actual object, as the sound produced speaking of the object gives an idea of the description of the object. Therefore, sound is the subtle characteristic of the object. Similarly, sound representation of the Lord, in terms of his characteristics, is the complete form of the Lord, as was seen by Vasudeva and Maharaja Dasharatha, the fathers of Lord Krishna and Lord Rama. The sound representation of the Lord is non-different from the Lord himself, because the Lord and his representation in sound are absolute knowledge. Lord Chaitanya has instructed us that in the holy name of the Lord, as sound representation of the Lord, all the potencies of the Lord are invested. Thus, one can immediately enjoy the association of the Lord by the pure vibration of the sound representation of his holy name, and the concept of the Lord is immediately manifested before the pure devotee. A pure devotee, therefore, is not aloof from the Lord even for a moment. The holy name of the Lord, as recommended in the Shastras, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, may therefore be constantly chanted by the devotee aspiring to be constantly in touch with the Supreme Lord. One who is thus able to associate with the Lord is sure to be delivered from the darkness of the created world, which is a product of false ego. Tasmasi ma jyotirgama. Tamasi ma jyotirgama.
Today we read until text 20, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, text 25. Tomorrow we will continue to text 26 through 29. Hare Krishna, Gandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. We will be starting Guru Puja.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Rama Rama. Abhi, you have to stand and sing.
No, I'm sitting. I want to sit.
Abhi, sing.
When I say sit,
No,
I'm sitting.
no,
I am sitting.
no.
No, I am sitting.
Somebody else will sing.
I want to sit. I'm sitting. Sit.
I'll sing. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bandamui Savadhana Mate Jahara Prasade Bhai E Baba Turiya Jai Krishna Prapti Ho Jaha Hote Gurmukha Padma Vakhya Chite Te Kuriya Kya Harana Kori Ho Mane Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Jas Prasade Pure Sarva Asha चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेम भक्ति जहा होते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेदे गाय जहर चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आधम जनर बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना हा हा प्रभु कुरु दोया देहो मोरे पादा छाया ए बिजास गुसुत्री भुवाना श्रील प्रभुपाद पतित पवाना जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चादिसतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवत्सादि गौर भक्त वृंद चैतन्य नित्यानंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम राम
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol.
The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attend to devotional service. I bow down his lotus feet with great honor and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic Padma emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us, gather to share your lotus feet. Your famous spirit all over the three worlds. Do we take the shelter of your lotus feet? Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Dubai. How long is your?
Just 1 week. Tuesday I will go back.
Oh, Tuesday you'll go back. Okay. Where are you staying here?
I'm staying in Tukwila.
Tukwila. And tomorrow working day also?
Yes, tomorrow is working.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a holiday for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come
Nice to
to
meet you.